Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Mountain Harmony Gardening. I'm Kristen, and today we're going to be talking about how do you know when to start your seeds. The first thing that you want to do is divide your seeds into categories. What I mean by this is on the back of each of your seed packets, it will tell you how far in advance to start your seeds indoors from your last frost date in the spring. So what I do is I take my seeds and I divide them into categories of how far out, such as is it 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and so on and so forth, and also direct sow. And that's what I did this year in each one of my containers. I know that I have my peppers and my huckleberries, my tomatillos, and they all need to be started about the exact same time. So that is your first step. Divide everything into categories by how far out you have to plant them from your last frost date. After you've divided all of your seeds into different categories, you need to figure out when your last frost date is. This is pretty easy to do by looking it up on the computer by your zip code. For me, I know that it's always right around Mother's Day is when we want to be planting, or maybe about a week or so before that. There are different apps online that you can use that will help you figure this out. But for me, every time I put in my zip code, it's a little bit off. So that's why I always keep my garden journal that I have right here. And then I know for sure when my last frost date was. So after you do that, I want you to go ahead and make a list of what plants you need to start and when. So what you do is you take your last frost date and then you just start counting back like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, and so on and so forth. And then you have those seeds already into your categories. And for mine, I'm going to be starting on February, let's see, when's the first date? It is March, actually March we're going to be starting. So we're going to be starting at the beginning of March on the 2nd with all the peppers and tomatillos and such. And then after that, it will be, let's see, March 16th, March 30th, and April 13th. Those are going to be all my planting dates. And because of my garden journal, I also had made some notes that I wanted to start a little bit later this year because the peppers did not do quite as well when I started them so early. So it's really handy to make sure you keep notes. After you've figured out when you're going to start all of your seeds, the next thing that you need to do is you need to draw up your garden. I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to come up to the camera here and let you see that I drew out my garden and I figured out how many seeds I need to start for each garden bed. And I have a longer video that I will definitely link in the description of how I did this last year, because you have to go out and measure, and then I kind of drew up on the grid paper and figured out their spacing and such. It took me a little while to do this, and I definitely have a more in detailed video that you can already watch on that. But once I figured that out, I also decided how much of this am I going to start inside and how much am I going to direct sow outside. Now, because of my garden notes that I take, and pretty much most of my garden notes are the videos now, I have a huge roly-poly problem. And last year, most of my squash plants and my cucumber plants and such, I had to restart over after I'd already grown them from weeks inside. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and skip that step because it worked great when I went ahead and directly sowed them outside. So a lot of these, instead of growing them inside the house this year, I am just going to go ahead and direct sow. And I'm going to be trying out a new method this year. And I will definitely be doing a video on that because I want to show you what I have in mind. So all in all, this process is pretty simple. You just need to divide it up, figure out your frost date, make a list of when you're going to be starting your seeds, draw up your garden, figure out how much you want to grow this year. And it's always helpful to, of course, take notes. And you don't have to do it the old-fashioned way of putting it on paper. I just like to write on paper. It's relaxing for me. So If you guys have any questions about this process, just drop the notes or drop a note in the comment below. So thanks for watching, everyone. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Happy gardening, everyone.